Where do you think you're going? The words froze Kira Williams mid-step, her hand trembling on the door handle. Dawn light hadn't yet broken through the Seoul skyline, and the penthouse was cast in shadows that suddenly felt menacing rather than romantic. She turned slowly. Kwon Min-jae stood between her and the only exit, arms crossed, his expression unreadable in the darkness. He was shirtless, wearing only black slacks, his silhouette backlit by the faint glow from the city below. In the pre-dawn gloom, he didn't look like the charming man from the club last night. He looked dangerous, predatory, like something that had been waiting for her to make exactly this move. "Home," Kira said, hating how her voice shook. "I'm going home." "Are you?" He didn't move, but somehow the distance between them felt smaller, more threatening. "Or are you running? Does it matter?" "It matters to me." He took one step forward, just one. But Kira's entire body went rigid with an instinct she couldn't name. Fight or flight, and flight was currently blocked. "We need to talk, Kira." "We really don't. Last night was what?" Another step. "A mistake? One night? Something you regret?" "Yes. No. She pressed her back against the door, her heels clutched in her hand like a weapon. Not that they'd help against a man his size. "I need to leave. Please move." "I can't do that." "Can't or won't?" "Both." He was close now. Close enough that she could see his eyes in the darkness, intense, burning with something she couldn't identify, desire, anger, something else entirely. "You don't understand what you're walking into, what's waiting for you out there." Kira's heart hammered. "What are you talking about?" "Sit down. I'll explain everything." "I don't want to sit down. I want to leave." "You can't leave. Not yet. Not until—" He stopped himself, jaw clenching. "Just trust me. Please." Trust him. She didn't know him, didn't know anything about him except that he was rich, powerful, and had bodyguards everywhere in his club. That he'd taken her home with practiced ease. That she'd been stupid enough to think one night with a stranger would make her feel better about her ex-boyfriend's betrayal. "Move," she said, voice stronger now, "or I'll scream. No one will hear you. The penthouse is soundproof." Ice flooded her veins. That's not reassuring. It wasn't meant to be threatening. Just a fact. He ran his hand through his hair, frustration evident. "God, I'm handling this badly. Kira, please, just give me 5 minutes. Let me explain." "Explain what? Why you won't let me leave? Why you're blocking the door like some kind of kidnapper? Because if you walk out that door right now, you'll be dead before you reach the street." The words hung in the air between them, heavy and impossible. Kira's mind raced. This was insane. This man was insane. She needed to get out. Now. "I don't believe you," she said. But her voice wavered. "You don't have to believe me, but you need to listen." He pulled out his phone, tapped something, then turned the screen toward her. It was a photo. Grainy, clearly taken from security footage. And it showed her, standing outside this very building, talking to the doorman last night when they'd arrived. But that wasn't what made her blood run cold. It was the man in the background, hidden partially in shadow, but clearly photographing her. And he was holding something else. Something that looked like— "Is that a gun?" she whispered. "Yes. There are 3 men watching this building. Have been since we arrived last night. They followed us from Eclipse." His voice was grim. "They're not here for me, Kira. They're here for you." "That's impossible. No one even knows I'm here." "No one." "Someone knows. Someone's been watching you. And they're waiting for you to leave." This couldn't be real. This was some kind of trick. Some manipulation to get her to stay. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out with shaking hands. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her tap the screen. Hello? Heavy breathing. Then a voice, distorted, mechanical. You shouldn't have spent the night with him, Kira. Now you're involved. And involved people die. The line went dead. Kira dropped the phone. It clattered on the marble floor, the sound impossibly loud in the silent penthouse. What? Her voice wouldn't work properly. What is happening? Minja's expression was grim. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Someone knows you're here, and they think you matter to me, which makes you a target. But I don't matter to you. We just met. That won't matter to them. They saw us together. Saw us leave together. That's enough. He moved closer, and this time Kira didn't back away. She couldn't. Her legs wouldn't work. I'm sorry. I never meant for you to get caught up in this. Caught up in what? Who are those men? What do they want? They want to hurt me, and the easiest way to do that is to hurt someone He stopped. Someone I was seen with. Someone who might matter. I don't understand. What are you? Who are you, really? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, my name is Kwon Min-jae. I inherited my father's business empire when he died 10 years ago. On paper, I run legitimate businesses. Restaurants, clubs, import-export companies. But the truth is more complicated. How complicated? Very. My father built his empire on less than legal foundations. I've been trying to change that. Go legitimate. But some people don't want change. They want the old ways, the violent ways. His eyes were dark, haunted. 3 weeks ago, I testified against one of my father's old associates. Gave evidence that will put him away for life. His organization has been looking for revenge ever since. Kira's mind struggled to process this. You're telling me you're in the Mafia. I'm telling you I'm trying to get out of the Mafia. There's a difference. And now they think, what? That I'm your girlfriend? Your weakness? They think you're leverage. Someone they can use against me. So what happens now? You just keep me here? Trap me? I protect you until my security team can neutralize the threat. He moved to the window, careful to stay in shadow. They're arranging safe transport, getting you out of Seoul if necessary. But until then, you need to stay here where it's secure. For how long? I don't know. Hours, days, however long it takes. Kira's legs finally gave out. She sank to the floor, her back against the door, mind spinning. This couldn't be happening. This was supposed to be a simple one-night stand. A way to forget about Marcus's betrayal. A way to feel desired again. Instead, she'd stumbled into a nightmare. I want to call my friend, she said. Michelle. She needs to know I'm okay. No calls? They could trace. I don't care. Either I call her or I walk out that door right now and take my chances. Min-jae studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Use my phone. It's encrypted. Tell her you're safe, but don't say where you are. Don't mention my name. Understand? She took his phone with trembling fingers, dialed Michelle's number. Hello? Michelle's voice was groggy. It was barely 5:30 a.m. It's me. Kira? Whose number is this? Where are you? I'm safe, but I can't come home right now. What? Why not? What happened? Nothing. Everything. I need you to know I'm okay. I'm safe. But don't try to find me, okay? Kira, you're scaring me. What's going on? Did that guy from last night hurt you? Because I swear to God, no. He didn't hurt me. She looked at Min-jae, who was watching her intently. He's protecting me. Protecting you from what? I can't explain. Just trust me. Please, I'll call you again soon. Kira, don't hang up. Talk to me. She ended the call, handed the phone back to Minji. She's going to lose her mind. Better worried than dead. He pocketed the phone. Are you hungry? I can have food brought up. How can you think about food right now? Because we might be here for a while, and you need to eat. What I need is to understand what's happening, all of it. No more half-truths. He nodded slowly. Okay, but you might not like what you hear. I already don't like any of this. Keep going. Minji moved to the windows, staying in shadow. When he spoke, his voice was carefully controlled. My father, Kwon Dae-jung, ran the largest organized crime syndicate in Seoul. Drugs, weapons, protection rackets, human trafficking. If it was illegal and profitable, he controlled it. When he died, I inherited everything. The businesses, the territory, the enemies. How old were you? 23. Young, stupid, terrified. He laughed bitterly. Everyone expected me to fail, to be weak, to let the empire crumble. But you didn't. No, I held it together, made the hard choices, did things I'm not proud of. Built a reputation as someone even more ruthless than my father. He turned to look at her. But I hated it. Hated the violence, the fear, the blood. So I started changing things, slowly, carefully, moving operations legitimate, shutting down the worst parts, making enemies of people who wanted the old ways to continue. Like the man you testified against. Park Min-soo. He ran the human trafficking arm, sold women and children to the highest bidder. I collected evidence against him for 2 years, finally had enough to bring him down. And now he wants revenge. Now his organization wants revenge. Park is in prison, but his second in command, Choi Sung-ho, took over. And Choi is more violent, more ruthless, more willing to cross lines even Park wouldn't cross. Kira's mind was reeling. So when those men saw us together last night, they reported back. Choi decided you were my weakness, my soft spot. Someone he could use. Minjae's jaw clenched. I should have been more careful. Should have taken you straight home. Should never have brought you here. Then why did you? Because I wasn't thinking strategically. I was thinking about you. About how you made me feel. About wanting more time. He looked away. Selfish, stupid, and now you're paying for it. Kira hugged her knees to her chest. What happens if they get to me? They won't. But if they do, they won't. His voice was steel. I'll die before I let them touch you. The conviction in his voice should have been reassuring. Instead, it was terrifying, because it meant this was real. The danger was real. The threat was real. I need to think, she said. I can't breathe. She was hyperventilating. Black spots danced at the edge of her vision. This was too much. Too fast. Minjae was suddenly there, kneeling in front of her. Breathe, Kira. In through your nose, out through your mouth, that's it. Slow, steady. She focused on his voice. On. Breathing. Slowly, the panic receded. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I know this is overwhelming, but I promise I will keep you safe, whatever it takes. Why? The question burst out. Why do you care? We're strangers. You don't owe me anything. Because last night, he stopped, shook his head. Last night was the first time in 10 years I felt like a person instead of a monster. You looked at me like I was just a man, not a criminal, not a threat, just someone worth knowing. His hand hovered near her face, but didn't touch. I won't let them take that away. Won't let them hurt you because of me. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He answered immediately, speaking rapid Korean. His expression darkened with every word. What? Kira asked when he hung up. What happened? They're moving. 4 men now instead of 3. Preparing to breach the building. Can't we call the police? The police can't stop them. Half the force is on Park's payroll. He stood and offered his hand. Come on. We need to move to the safe room. There's a safe room? Built into the master bedroom. Reinforced steel, independent air supply, separate power system. We can hold out there until my team arrives. Kira took his hand and let him pull her up. Her legs felt like water. How long until they arrive? 20 minutes, maybe less. And how long until those men get inside? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. They moved quickly through the penthouse. Minji grabbed his phone, a laptop, and something that looked like a gun from a hidden compartment. He saw her looking. Just in case, he said. Have you? She couldn't finish the question. Killed someone? Yes, when I had to, when there was no other choice. His eyes met hers. Does that change things? Everything. Nothing. She didn't know anymore. They reached the bedroom. Minjae moved to the wall, pressed something, and a section swung inward to reveal a small room, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. Spartan. A bench along one wall, supplies on shelves, a screen showing security feeds. Inside, he said. Kira stepped in. The space was claustrophobic, terrifying, but safer than being exposed. Minjae followed and sealed the door behind them. The lock engaged with a heavy thunk that sounded like a tomb closing. They were trapped, but they were safe. For now. On the security screen, Kira could see the penthouse. Empty, quiet, waiting. How will we know when they're inside? She whispered. The system will alert. A soft chime interrupted him. Red lights flashed on the screen. They're in the building, he said grimly. Kira watched the screens with horrified fascination. 4 men in dark clothes moved through the building's service entrance, bypassing security with ease. They knew exactly where they were going. This wasn't random. This was planned. How did they get past security? She asked. Someone inside helped them. Someone on my payroll who's been turned. Minjae's voice was cold. I'll deal with them later. The men reached his floor. They moved with military precision, clearing each room methodically, looking for them. One of them pulled out a phone and spoke into it. On another screen, Kira could see a 5th man, older, scarred, watching from a car outside. That's Choi, Minjae said. He's supervising personally. This is worse than I thought. Why? Because it means he really believes you matter to me. He wouldn't risk coming himself unless... He stopped. Unless what? Unless killing you would destroy me. He looked at her. He thinks you're important, more than just a one-night stand. But I'm not. We just met. I know. But he doesn't know that, and now... His jaw tightened. Now we need to make sure he never finds out otherwise. What does that mean? Before he could answer, one of the men on screen approached the bedroom. He studied the wall where the safe room was hidden, ran his hands over it, looking for seams, for access points. He found something, a slight imperfection. He called the others over. Can they get in? Kira's voice was barely audible. The door is reinforced steel. Would take them hours with the right tools. Minji checked his phone. My team is 15 minutes out. And if they have the right tools, then we have a problem. One of the men pulled something from his bag, a small device with wires. He attached it to the wall near the door seam. Is that... Kira couldn't say it. Explosives, shaped charge, designed to breach reinforced barriers. Min-jae's voice was tight. They came prepared. Can it break through? Maybe, probably, yes. He moved to the back corner of the safe room and pressed another hidden panel, a smaller space beyond, barely big enough for one person. If they breach, you go in here. Lock yourself in. Don't come out until you hear my voice. Understand? What about you? I'll deal with them. With 4 armed men? I've handled worse odds. That's not reassuring. It's not meant to be. It's meant to keep you alive. He gripped her shoulders. Kira, listen to me. If they breach, if I tell you to hide, you hide. You don't argue. You don't try to help. You hide and you survive. Promise me. She wanted to argue, wanted to say she wouldn't leave him. But looking into his eyes, seeing the absolute determination there, she realized arguing would be pointless. I promise, she whispered. On screen, the man finished setting the charge. He backed away, said something into his radio. The others moved back as well. They were going to blow the door. Min-jae pulled her to the back corner and positioned himself between her and the door. He had the gun out now, held with practiced ease. How long until your team arrives? She asked. 12 minutes. And how long until... The explosion cut her off. The blast wasn't as loud as she'd expected. The safe room absorbed most of the sound. But she felt it. The floor shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. And on the screen. She saw smoke clearing from the door. The steel had held. Bent inward, cracked, but held. It didn't break through, she said, relief flooding through her. First charge didn't, but they have more. Min-jae's voice was grim. The men were already setting a second charge. Larger this time, more powerful. We have to do something, Kira said. We can't just wait for them to. There's nothing we can do. Not from in here. He checked his phone again. 10 minutes. We just need to hold out 10 more minutes. The second explosion was massive. The safe room shook violently. Kira screamed despite herself. The screen went dark, either from damage or a power surge. When the dust cleared, she could see the door. A large section had been blown inward. Not completely breached, but damaged. Weakened. One more charge would do it. Time to hide, Min-jae said, pulling her toward the smaller space. No. Now, Kira, they'll breach with the third charge. When they do, I'll hold them off until my team arrives. But you need to be hidden. Safe. I won't leave you to... You don't have a choice. His voice was hard, commander-like. The voice of a man used to being obeyed. Get in. Lock yourself in. Don't come out until this is over. He practically pushed her into the tiny space. It was barely larger than a closet, dark, suffocating. Min-jae, I'll be fine, I promise. He was already closing the panel. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. Stay alive. The panel sealed with a soft click. Kira was alone in the darkness. She pressed her ear to the panel, trying to hear. Her heart hammered so loudly she was sure they'd hear it through the walls. Outside, muffled by steel and concrete, she heard voices. Korean, angry. Then Min-jae's voice, calm and cold, responding to them. She couldn't make out words, could only imagine what was happening. Then, gunfire. 3 shots. 4, 5. The sound was muted but unmistakable. Kira's hands covered her mouth, holding back a scream. Was Min-jae hurt? Was he? More shots. Shouting. something heavy hitting the floor. Then silence. Terrible, complete silence. Kira pressed against the panel, desperate to see, to know. But it was sealed. She was trapped in the dark with no idea if Minjae was alive or dead. Minutes crawled by, or maybe seconds. Time had no meaning in the darkness. Then, voices again, different ones, speaking Korean rapidly. Urgent, but not angry. Clear. Secure. Boss, can you hear me? Minjae's voice, weak but alive. Safe room. Hidden panel. Back wall. She's inside. Footsteps. Close. Right outside her hiding space. Miss? A new voice, speaking English. Miss, we're with Kwon Minjae. You're safe. Please open the door. Kira's hands shook as she found the release mechanism. The panel swung open. Light blinded her. She blinked against it, trying to see. Two men in tactical gear stood there. Behind them, she could see the safe room, the blown door, smoke, and blood. So much blood. Where's Minjae? She demanded, pushing past them. Miss, you shouldn't. She was already through the door, into the main safe room. 4 bodies lay on the ground. The men who'd tried to break in. They weren't moving. And sitting against the wall, pressing his hand to his side where blood seeped through his shirt, was Minjae. You're hurt, Kira said, dropping to her knees beside him. I'm fine. Flesh wound. Looks worse than it is. He tried to smile. Failed. You're safe. That's what matters. You got shot protecting me. That was the plan, yes? He winced as one of his men began examining the wound. Bullet went through. Clean. I'll be fine. This is insane. This whole situation is insane. Kira's voice rose. People are dead. You're bleeding. I'm in shock. Minjae finished. That's normal, but it's over. Choi's men are dead or captured. You're safe. Until the next time. Until they try again. They won't. Choi saw what happened. Knows I'm willing to kill to protect you. His hand found hers, squeezed weakly. He'll think twice before trying again. You can't know that. I can. Because I'll make sure he knows. Come after you again, and I'll destroy him. His organization, his family, everything. Despite the pain, despite the blood loss, his voice was cold steel. I'll make him regret even thinking your name. The conviction in his voice should have frightened her, should have made her run. Instead, it made her feel safe, protected, cherished, which was its own kind of terrifying. We need to get you to a hospital, she said. No hospitals? Questions? Police? Complications? He shook his head. I have a doctor. Private. Discreet. He's already on the way. One of his men approached. Boss, we cleared the building. Choi fled when his team didn't report back. We're tracking him now. Find him. I want to know where he is, who he's talking to, what he's planning, every movement. Understand? Yes, sir. As the man left, Minjae's eyes found Kira's again. I'm sorry for all of this, for dragging you into my world. You tried to stop me from leaving, tried to keep me safe. I should have been more careful, should have realized they were watching, should have... He grimaced as the wound was cleaned. Should have protected you better. You took a bullet for me. I'd say that's pretty protective. Not good enough. You shouldn't have been in danger at all. They stared at each other, blood and violence and fear surrounding them. But in that moment, something shifted. Something connected. Why did you do it? Kira asked quietly. Really? Why protect me? You don't know me. Don't owe me anything. Because last night you looked at me like I was human. Not a monster, not a criminal. Just a man. His hand tightened on hers. No one's looked at me like that in 10 years. I wasn't going to let them take that away. Wasn't going to let them hurt you. That's a terrible reason to get shot. That's the best reason I've ever had. The doctor arrived, a nervous man with a medical bag who immediately set to work on Minjae's wound. Kira was ushered out of the room, given tea she didn't drink, wrapped in a blanket she didn't need. She sat in Minjae's living room, now full of his security team, phones ringing, urgent conversations in Korean, and tried to process what had happened. She'd gone to a club last night to forget about her ex, to feel desirable, to have one night of fun. Instead, she'd nearly been killed, had watched men die, had hidden in darkness while the man she'd slept with fought for her life. This was insane. She should leave, should run as far from Kwon Minjae and his dangerous world as possible. But when the doctor emerged 30 minutes later and said, "He's asking for you," Kira found herself moving toward the bedroom without hesitation. Minjae was propped up against pillows, his torso bandaged, face pale but alert. When he saw her, something in his expression softened. "You're still here," he said. "Where else would I be?" "Running. Most people would be running." "Most people don't." She stopped. "Don't what? Don't feel connected to you after one night? Don't care if you live or die? Don't feel safe despite the danger?" "Don't what?" he prompted. "I don't know. This is all happening too fast. Yesterday I was heartbroken over my ex. Today I'm..." She gestured helplessly. "What am I? A target? A victim? A liability? You're someone I care about protecting. That's all that matters." "But why? We're strangers." "Are we?" He patted the bed beside him. "Sit, please." She sat, careful not to jostle his injury. "Last night," Minjae said, "when you walked into Eclipse, I noticed you immediately. You weren't like the other women there. You weren't trying to be noticed. You were trying to disappear, to escape something. My ex, my heartbreak, my life. I understood that. Because I come to Eclipse for the same reason, to escape, to feel normal for a few hours." He looked at her. "When we talked at the bar, you didn't treat me like a criminal or a curiosity. You treated me like a person. Do you know how rare that is? You said that before, when you were shot. Because it's true. In my world, everyone wants something. Power, money, access, protection. No one just wants me, the person underneath." His hand found hers. Then you came along. And for one night, I got to be just a man with a beautiful woman. Not a crime boss, not an empire, just me. And now I know the truth. Know what you are. Does it change things? Kira thought about it. Really thought about it. He was a criminal. Had killed people. Lived in a world of violence and danger. Everything logical said she should run. But he'd also protected her. Taken a bullet for her. Kept her safe when he could have just let her leave. "I don't know," she said honestly. "I don't know what this is. What we are. What happens next. Then let's figure it out. Together. One day at a time." That's a big ask after what just happened. I know. But I'm asking anyway. He squeezed her hand. "Stay. Get to know me. See if this, whatever this is, could be something real. Something worth the risk. People tried to kill me today, Minjae. And I'll make sure it never happens again. I'll assign you security. Move you somewhere safe. Do whatever it takes to protect you. That's not normal. Nothing about my life is normal. But it could be good. We could be good." His eyes held hers. Give me a chance to prove it. She should say no, should protect herself, should run. But looking at him, at this dangerous, complicated man who'd bled for her, Kira felt something she hadn't felt in years. Wanted, protected, safe. Even in the middle of chaos and violence, she felt safe with him, which was either the smartest thing she'd ever felt or the most dangerous. 1 week, she heard herself say. I'll stay for 1 week, see how this feels, see if it's real or just trauma. Bonding. 1 week, he agreed. And Kira, thank you for staying, for giving this a chance, for not running. Don't make me regret it. I won't, I swear I won't. Kira woke in an unfamiliar bed, in an unfamiliar room. For a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it all came flooding back. The attack, the blood, the gunfire. Minjae. She sat up quickly, ignoring the way her body protested. She was in a guest room in the penthouse. Someone, one of the staff probably, had brought her here after she'd fallen asleep in a chair beside Minjae's bed. She found her phone on the nightstand. Dozens of missed calls from Michelle, 3 voicemails, each more panicked than the last. She called back immediately. Kira, oh my God, where have you been? I've been losing my mind. I'm sorry. Things got complicated. Complicated how? You called me at 5 a.m. from a strange number saying you couldn't come home. What the hell is going on? I can't explain over the phone, but I'm safe, I promise. With that guy from the club? Yes. Kira, you don't know him. What if he's dangerous? What if he is dangerous? The truth escaped before she could stop it. But not to me. He's been protecting me. Protecting you from what? From people who think I matter to him, who want to hurt me to hurt him. Silence. Then, I'm coming to Seoul. I'm getting on the next flight and no. Michelle, no, stay in D.C., it's safer. But you're not safe. I am. I'm safer than you'd be if you came here. Trust me, please. Michelle was quiet for a long moment. I don't like this. Any of this. I know. But I need you to trust me. I'll call you every day. Let you know I'm okay. Every day. Promise? I promise. After she hung up, Kira ventured out of the guest room. The penthouse looked different in daylight. Less glamorous, more fortress-like. She could see security measures she'd missed before. Cameras, reinforced doors, panic buttons hidden in plain sight. This wasn't a home. It was a stronghold. She found Minjae in what looked like a home office. He was on the phone, speaking rapid Korean, his tone cold and commanding. When he saw her, his expression softened immediately. He held up one finger, 1 minute, and continued his conversation. Kira waited, studying him. He was shirtless again, bandages visible on his side. He should be resting. Instead, he was working, running his empire from bed rest. He finally hung up, set the phone aside. You're awake. How do you feel? Confused, scared, angry? Take your pick. All valid. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. Sit. We need to talk. That's never a good opening. No, but necessary. He waited until she sat. Last night, I made you a promise that I'd keep you safe, that you'd never be in danger again because of me. And I meant it. But keeping that promise requires some adjustments. What kind of adjustments? First, security. I'm assigning you a protection detail. 2 guards, minimum, wherever you go. They'll be discreet but present. I don't want bodyguards following me around. It's not negotiable. Not until we confirm Choi isn't planning another attempt. What if I refuse? Then you're putting yourself in danger. And I can't... His jaw tightened. I can't watch you walk into danger. Not after yesterday. She wanted to argue, wanted to fight for her independence. But the memory of those men, The gunfire, the blood. It was too fresh. Fine. Bodyguards. What else? Second, communication. You can't tell anyone where you are or who you're with. That includes Michelle. I already told her I'm with you. His expression darkened. That's not ideal. She's my best friend. I wasn't going to lie to her. Does she know my full name? No. Just that I met you at Eclipse. Keep it that way. The less she knows, the safer she is. You think they'd go after her? I think if Choi thinks Michelle matters to you, he'll use her to get to you, and through you, to me. He leaned forward, grimacing slightly at the movement. Everyone connected to you is now a potential target. That's the reality of my world. Kira's stomach churned. This is insane. Yes, but it's the truth. He pulled out a tablet, turned it toward her. These are the men who attacked yesterday. 3 dead, 1 captured alive. The photos were brutal. Bodies in the safe room, blood pooling around them. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to understand. These men came to kill you, Kira. Not kidnap, not threaten. Kill. They had orders to make it painful, to make me watch. His voice was flat, emotionless, but his eyes burned. That's what Choi does. He doesn't just eliminate problems, he destroys them, makes examples. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand what staying with me means, what being seen with me costs. He closed the tablet. I'm giving you a choice, a real choice. You can leave. Right now, I'll have my people, set you up somewhere safe. New city, new identity if necessary. You walk away clean, and Choi loses interest because you're gone. Or you stay. Accept the security, accept the danger. Accept that being with me, even for 1 week, makes you a target. He met her eyes. I won't blame you if you choose to leave. It's the smart choice, the safe choice. Kira stared at him. This was it, her out, her chance to run before things got more complicated. But looking at him, at this man who'd taken a bullet for her, who was offering her an escape even though she could see in his eyes that he wanted her to stay, she couldn't make herself choose safety. What happened to the one you captured? She asked instead of answering. He's being questioned. We need to know if Choi is planning another attempt, what he knows about my operations, who else is involved. Questioned. You mean tortured? I mean questioned. There are ways to get information without... He stopped. You don't want to know the details. You're right, I don't. She stood, paced to the window. Seoul spread out below, beautiful and dangerous. If I stay, if I accept this insanity, what happens after the week? Do I just live like this? Bodyguards and threats and hiding? No. In 1 week, Choi will have moved on to other problems. You'll cease to be valuable leverage. You can go back to your life. Unless he hasn't moved on. He will. Men like Choi are opportunistic. They strike when vulnerability presents itself. After a week of us together, publicly visible, he'll realize you're not a weakness. You're protected. And protected targets aren't worth the effort. That's your plan? Make me so visible that I'm not worth attacking? Essentially, yes. That seems dangerous. Everything about my life is dangerous, but visible is safer than hidden. Hidden suggests you matter enough to hide. Visible suggests you're just another part of my public life. Not special, not vulnerable. Kira turned to face him. And if at the end of the week, if I want to leave, walk away from this, from you? Something flickered across his face. Pain, quickly masked. Then I let you go. Set you up somewhere safe. Make sure Choi knows you mean nothing, that you were just a one-night stand that lasted a week. Something like that. They stared at each other across the office. I need time to think, Kira said finally. Take all the time you need. But while you're thinking, he pulled out a phone. Take this. It's encrypted, secure. My number is already programmed. So is emergency security. If anything feels wrong, if you're scared, if you need me, call. Anytime. Day or night. She took the phone, felt its weight. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is my fault. I'm just trying to fix it. Kira spent the rest of the day in the guest room, trying to process everything. She called Michelle again, reassured her she was fine. She researched Kwon Min-jae online, finding surprisingly little. Just mentions of his legitimate businesses, photos from charity galas, nothing about his criminal empire. He'd hidden it well, or his people had. Around dinner time, there was a knock on her door. Come in, she called. It was one of the staff, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes. Miss Williams? Mr. Kwon has requested your presence for dinner, if you're willing. Is that an order or a request? A request, miss. But I think... She paused. I think he'd be very glad if you joined him. Kira found Min-jae in the dining room. He'd dressed, slacks and a button-down, his bandages hidden, and the table was set for two. You're supposed to be resting, Kira said. I rested all day. I'm going stir-crazy. He gestured to the seat across from him. Will you join me? No pressure, no expectations, just dinner. She sat. The food arrived. Korean dishes she didn't recognize, but smelled amazing. I ordered a variety, Min-jae said. Wasn't sure what you'd like. Thank you. They ate in, silence for a few minutes. Then Min-jae said, Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you come to Eclipse that night? You looked miserable, like you were forcing yourself to be there. My friend Michelle dragged me. Said I needed to get back out there after my ex cheated on me. The ex who said you were too much? You remember that. I remember everything you told me that night. He set down his chopsticks. He was an idiot, by the way. You're not too much. You're perfect as you are. You don't know me well enough to say that. Then let me get to know you. Really know you. Not just one night. Not just a week of hiding. Actually know you. That's a dangerous thing to want, given your world. My world is dangerous regardless. Might as well have something worth protecting in it. She wanted to argue, wanted to maintain distance, but the sincerity in his eyes made it impossible. Tell me something true, she said instead. Something you've never told anyone. He considered. When my father died, I cried. Not from grief, I hated him, but from relief, because I finally had a chance to be something different, something better, and I've spent 10 years terrified I'll fail, that I'll become him. You won't. How do you know? Because you're asking the question. My father, he walked out when I was 7, never looked back. Never wondered if he was doing the right thing. People who become their parents don't question it. She met his eyes. You're questioning. That means you're different. I hope you're right. I am. After dinner, Min-jae walked her to the guest room. Or rather, limped. His wound was bothering him more than he wanted to admit. You need to rest, Kira said. I need a lot of things. Rest is pretty low on the list. He leaned against her doorframe. Can I ask one more thing? What? Have you decided if you're staying for the week? She should say no. Should choose safety. Should run. Yes, she heard herself say. I'm staying, but Min-jae, don't make me regret it. I won't. I swear I won't. 3 days of carefully orchestrated public appearances. 3 days of Kira on Min-jae's arm at restaurants, galleries, charity events. 3 days of her bodyguards. 2 silent men named Kang and Lee, shadowing her every move. 3 days of waiting for the other shoe to drop. It dropped on the 4th day. Kira was in the penthouse. She'd moved her things from the guest room to a space Min-jae had cleared for her, giving her privacy while keeping her close. When Min-jae burst through the door, face pale. "We have a problem," he said. "What kind of problem?" "The man we captured. The one we've been questioning." He pulled up security footage on his tablet. "He just gave us information that changes everything." "What information?" "Choi didn't order the hit on you randomly. He knew you'd be at Eclipse that night, knew I'd be there, knew we'd meet." Ice flooded Kira's veins. "That's impossible. I didn't even know I'd be there until Michelle." She stopped, stared at Min-jae. "What?" she whispered. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying someone told Choi you'd be there. Someone who knew your schedule, your habits. Someone close to you." "No, that's impossible. Michelle would never." "Not Michelle." His expression was grim. "Your ex, Marcus." The name hit like a physical blow. "Marcus? What does he have to do with any of this?" "According to our captive, Choi has been running an operation targeting me for months, looking for weaknesses, ways to hurt me. He put out word that he'd pay for information about my movements, my interests, my vulnerabilities. And Marcus somehow learned you'd met me, saw an opportunity, contacted Choi's people and told them you'd be at Eclipse that night, that you were vulnerable, heartbroken, easy to seduce." Min-jae's voice was cold fury, barely restrained. "He sold you, Kira. Sold you to a man who wanted to kill you to hurt me." Kira sank onto the couch, mind reeling. "Why would he do that? We broke up. He cheated. He had no reason to. Money. Choi paid him $50,000 for the tip and promised more if it worked, if you became my weakness." "That doesn't make sense. Marcus didn't even know who you were." "He didn't need to. He just needed to know Choi wanted information about you, about any connection to powerful people." Min-jae sat beside her, careful. "I'm sorry. I know this is hard to hear." "Hard to hear? My ex-boyfriend?" Her voice broke. "My ex-boyfriend sold me out to a mobster who tried to kill me. Because he wanted money? Yes. That's..." She couldn't find words. "That's so much worse than cheating." "It is. And I'm sorry. If I'd known, if I'd realized..." Don't apologize for his choices." Anger burned through the shock. "Where is he? Marcus, where is he now?" "Washington, D.C., living his life, unaware that his information nearly got you killed." "Unaware." The word tasted bitter. "We need to fix that." Min-jae studied her face. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking he needs to know, needs to understand what he did." She looked at Min-jae. "Can you arrange a call? Secure, untraceable? I want to talk to him." "Kira, please, I need to hear him admit it. Need to know if he even realizes what he did." Min-jae was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. "I'll set it up, but I'm staying in the room. For your safety. I wouldn't have it any other way." 30 minutes later, Kira sat in Min-jae's office with a secure phone. Min-jae stood nearby, close enough to intervene if necessary, far enough to give her space. She dialed Marcus's number. She still had it memorized, hated that she did. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello." The sound of his voice made her stomach turn. "Marcus, it's Kira." "Kira? Wow, I didn't expect to hear from you. How are you? Still mad about the whole Sarah thing?" The casual dismissal of his betrayal made her anger spike. Actually, I'm calling about something else. Oh? What's up? I'm calling about the $50,000 you made by selling information about me to a Korean mob boss. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie. We have the records, the transactions, testimony from the people who hired you. Her voice was ice. You told them I'd be at Eclipse, that I was vulnerable, that I could be used. And because of that information, 4 men came to kill me. Kira, I wouldn't. They broke into an apartment where I was staying, set off explosives, tried to murder me to hurt someone you knew I'd met. She could hear her voice rising, couldn't stop it. I hid in a closet while people died in the next room, all because you wanted money. You don't understand. I had debts, gambling debts. These people, they were going to hurt me if I didn't. So, you hurt me instead? It wasn't supposed to go like that. They said they just wanted to watch you, to see if you were important to this guy. I didn't know they'd try to kill you. You sold me out without even asking what they wanted the information for. Kira's hands were shaking. You took money to betray me, and you didn't even care why. I needed the money. You needed integrity. You needed basic human decency. You needed to not be a monster. She took a breath. But you are. You're a monster. And I hope you realize that. I hope you lie awake at night knowing you almost got me killed for $50,000. Kira, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Sorry doesn't cut it. Sorry doesn't undo what happened. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that I nearly died because of you. What are you going to do? You can't prove anything. It's my word against recorded confessions from the people you worked with, against financial records, against testimony. She smiled coldly, even though he couldn't see it. I'm not going to do anything, Marcus. But the people you betrayed, the organization you helped, Target, they're very interested in having a conversation with you. They can't touch me. I'm in the States. I'm protected. No one is protected. Not from people like this. They have reach, resources, patience. She paused. But maybe they'll be merciful. Maybe they'll just ruin your life instead of ending it. Destroy your credit, your career, your reputation. Make sure everyone knows what you did. Kira, please. Goodbye, Marcus. I hope the money was worth it. She hung up, sat there shaking with rage and pain and betrayal. Min-jae moved to her side immediately. Are you okay? No, but I will be. She looked up at him. What happens to him now, really? What do you want to happen? I want him to suffer, the way he made me suffer, the way he almost got me killed. She stood, but not death, not violence, just consequences, real consequences. I can arrange that. Financial ruin, professional blackballing, social exile, all within legal bounds. He'll lose everything that matters without a single illegal act. Do it. Kira, do it. He deserves it. And I need to know he's facing consequences, that he doesn't just get to walk away unscathed while I'm hiding with bodyguards because of him. Min-jae nodded slowly. Consider it done. 2 days left in their week. 2 days before Kira had to decide if she was leaving or staying, if this was real or just trauma bonding, if a relationship built on danger and violence could ever become something healthy and normal. She spent the 6th day thinking about it, really thinking. Min-jae had been perfect, attentive but not smothering, honest but not overwhelming. He'd shown her his world without sugarcoating it, the violence, the danger, the impossible choices. but he'd also shown her himself. The man beneath the reputation, the artist, the strategist, the person trying desperately to be better than his father. She'd also learned more about his operations, how he was systematically moving things, legitimately, how he'd reduced violence by 70% in his territory, how he was using his power to actually improve people's lives, better pay for workers, protection for vulnerable populations, investment in struggling neighborhoods. He wasn't just a criminal trying to go straight. He was a criminal using his power to build something better. It didn't erase the bad, but it complicated the picture. That evening, they had dinner together. Just the two of them. No staff, no bodyguards in sight, though she knew they were close. "Tomorrow is day 7, Minji said. "The end of our week?" "I know." "Have you decided what you're going to do?" Kira set down her fork. "Can I ask you something first?" "Anything?" "What happens if I leave? Really? What happens to you?" He was quiet for a moment. "I'll be fine. I'll miss you. But I'll survive." "That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking what happens to your heart, your emotions, your ability to trust someone again." "You think I'll be damaged if you leave?" "I think you're already damaged. We both are. I think you've spent 10 years building walls, and I think letting me in was risky, scary. And if I leave, if I reject you after everything you've done to protect me, I think it'll reinforce every bad belief you have about yourself, that you're not worth loving, that people always leave, that vulnerability is weakness." Tears filled his eyes. He blinked them back. "You see too much. I see you, the real you, the one you hide from everyone else." She reached across the table and took his hand. "So, I need to know. If I stay, if I choose this, choose you. Are you in? Really in? Or is this just about proving you can have something good?" "It's about you. About wanting you in my life. Not as proof of anything, just as you. Kira, the woman who challenged me, who didn't run when things got dangerous, who saw my darkness and didn't flinch." He squeezed her hand. "I'm in, completely, terrifyingly, all in. Even though I'm complicated, even though I have trust issues and abandonment fears and a tendency to self-sabotage. Especially because of those things. Because they made you who you are, and I love who you are." The word hung between them. Love. He'd said it, actually said it. "You love me," Kira said, "after 6 days. I've loved you since day 1. Since you tried to leave and I blocked the door. Since I realized losing you would destroy me." He stood, moved around the table to kneel beside her chair. "I love you, Kira Williams. I'm in love with you. And I know it's fast. I know it's probably crazy. But it's true. And I need you to know that before you decide." Kira looked at him. This dangerous, complicated, beautiful man who'd somehow become essential to her life in less than a week. And she realized something terrifying. She loved him too. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too. What if we crash and burn? Then we crash and burn together. But Kira, what if we don't? What if this is actually real? What if we're actually perfect for each other despite every reason we shouldn't be?" That might be more terrifying. Definitely more terrifying. He cupped her face. But worth it. So worth it. She kissed him, poured every fear and hope and feeling into it. When they broke apart, she said, "I'm staying." "Staying for another week?" "Staying, period. No time limit, no experiment. Just staying." She touched his face. "I'm in too, Minja. All in. Completely terrified. But all in." The joy on his face was incandescent. He pulled her into his arms, held her like she was precious, like he'd never let go. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too. God help me, I love you too." Kira moved through the gallery with practiced ease, talking to patrons about the paintings on display. Min-jae's paintings. He'd finally agreed to show his work publicly, a small, private exhibition for select guests. "This one," an elderly woman said, pointing to the painting of Kira in the red dress. "Tell me about this one." "That's the artist's favorite," Kira said with a smile. "It's of the woman he fell in love with the night they met. It's beautiful. She must be very special." "She is. Trust me." Min-jae appeared beside Kira and slipped his arm around her waist. "She's everything." The woman smiled knowingly and moved on to the next painting. "How are you holding up?" Min-jae asked quietly. "Good. Great, actually. This is amazing. People love your work. They love you. You're the one who convinced me to do this. You're talented. The world deserved to see it." He kissed her temple. "Thank you. For pushing me. For believing in me. For staying when you could have run. Where else would I go? You blocked the door, remember? Best decision I ever made." 3 months since that terrifying week. 3 months since Kira had chosen to stay, since she'd chosen him. It hadn't been easy. There were still threats, though less frequent. Still danger, though managed. Still complications, though they faced them together. But there was also love. Real, deep, transformative love. The kind that made everything else worthwhile. Choi had backed off, just as Min-jae predicted, moved on to other targets, other problems. And with each day that passed, Kira became less valuable as leverage. Just another part of Min-jae's life. Protected but not hidden. Important but not vulnerable. Marcus had lost everything. His job, his reputation, his financial stability, all through perfectly legal means. He'd called once, begging for mercy. Kira had hung up without a word. Michelle had finally met Min-jae, after extensive security vetting, and declared him perfect but terrifying, which is apparently your type. And Kira had found something she'd stopped believing in. A love that stayed, a person who chose her, a future that felt possible instead of doomed. "Can I tell you something?" Min-jae said, pulling her aside as the gallery crowd mingled. "Always. I painted something new. For you. Want to see it? Now? In the middle of your exhibition? Now." He led her to a small room off the main gallery, closed the door behind them, and revealed a canvas covered with cloth. "I haven't shown anyone," he said. "Wanted you to see it first." He pulled off the cloth. The painting was stunning. It showed 2 figures, her and him, dancing in darkness. But unlike the first painting, this one showed a connection, intimacy, love. They were holding each other like they'd never let go, like they'd found home in each other. "It's called Where Do You Think You're Going?" Min-jae said. "Because that's what I asked you, that first morning when you tried to leave." "I remember. And you know what the answer is now?" "What?" "Nowhere. You're not going anywhere, because you're home." He turned her to face him. "You're my home, Kira, and I'm yours. And we're building something beautiful despite every reason we shouldn't." She kissed him, tasting. Tears, his or hers, she couldn't tell. "I love you. I love you too. Forever." Forever is a long time. Not long enough. And as they stood there, holding each other in the quiet room while the gallery buzzed with life beyond the door, Kira thought about that scared woman who'd tried to sneak out at dawn. the woman who'd been so afraid of being hurt that she'd almost walked away from the love of her life. Thank God Minjae had blocked the door. Thank God she'd stayed. Thank God for danger and suspense and impossible choices that led to perfect outcomes. "Where do you think you're going?" he'd asked. "Nowhere," she thought now. "I'm already exactly where I'm supposed to be." If Kira and Minjae's story kept you on the edge of your seat, smash that like button. Drop a comment. Were you scared for Kira? Did the danger make the love story more intense? What was your favorite suspenseful moment? Don't forget to subscribe to Afro Korean World TV for more stories that will have your heart racing. We're building something special here, and it's all thanks to you, besties. See you in the next story.